You are listening to Food for Worms, the original True Grime podcast.
Food for worms.
So, like, have you ever gotten the gout? Because I've always wondered. this is a weird way to just open it up. I feel like I've had it going on at points of time, but I also just think that I walk a lot and my legs get tired. But I've also pulled a muscle, but I don't know. I hear about it and I don't know exactly what the fuck it is.
Okay.
Or what.
Okay. Well, then that was my first question. Do you know what gout is?
No. Can you tell me what it is?
As I understand it, it's when your lactic acid levels are too high and they concentrate on one part of your body, and they kind of makes a part of your body, specifically like your extremities, so like your feet and your toes.
Okay.
Incredibly painful to the point where it's like debilitating, and you can counteract that by drinking alkaline water and eating cherries.
Is that the only
dark
things
cherries.
that can help out with that?
I think time also as well, but I just know that it's when you're just some lactic acid levels are too high.
Like
And
Morris Day in the time?
yeah, if we're talking about the concept of time and healing, yeah, I guess.
Do you know Morris Day in the time?
I'm aware of him, yeah.
I mean,
My uncle sat next to him on the plane once.
really?
Yeah.
Because I had them on vinyl just because of the cover or whatever. They're standing in front of a castle.
Yep.
And they have zoot suits on and
What time
shit.
is it? Is that the album? The time is that? What
That
time
might
is
be
it?
that might be the album.
Yeah, I had that one too.
Yeah, when I had seen Purple Rain like earlier in my life, but I didn't make the connection that that's the group that opens up for Prince in Purple Rain, and I didn't know that they were a Minnesota band, all this weird shit. But but yeah, I don't know. Times are a changing.
Oh we what?
Yeah, Bob Dylan.
It's not the
No. What?
No.
Oh, sorry.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh. I think I wanna know you know.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Their fucking dance that they do while they're on stage
Yeah,
in
it's the
that
shit.
movie.
I feel like you hopping around from the time to Bob Dylan is kind of upsetting, but whatever, man. Do your thing.
Still Minnesota, but yeah, definitely like less danceable and a little bit more downer. You know.
Yeah, man. No, this dude's Morris Day is a legend in his own right. Still dresses like a fucking G.
Does he?
Yeah, man. Like they had some shows at the Como Zoo a few years ago as well.
Word.
Yeah, they're still kicking it.
Yeah, because I mean, I've seen have you ever been to a show at the Como Zoo?
No,
They're pretty fun. I saw the Wailers there, and I saw Parliament I think it was just George Clinton. I don't know if it was Parliament Funkadelic, but yeah, both of those shows were fucking fantastic. Seeing out at the zoo.
Shout out to the Sue McLean agency. They do those things out there.
That's who does it.
Yep. Also, Shayna Rocks. Shayna Rocks is a promoter rep with them. She's the shit.
We took the kid out there probably like a month ago or whatever. The Como Zoo. Shout out Como Zoo. I love the fucking place of zoos in the Minnesota area.
The two.
Well, right. But they're definitely my favorite. They're the spot I'm gonna go to always. And that's not to hate on the other spot. I've just always preferred Como Zoo. But we went with the kid, and it was definitely for more me and my wife, because the kid, she's way too ADHD, so she wasn't paying attention to fucking anything. So it was.
So the spider monkeys are there for you today.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
nice.
Like she definitely looked at 3 or 4 things because we always go through the reptile room first, just because Brooke's got to get it. She's got to get past that because she hates fucking snakes. So it's we got to get past this. We got to get it done, and then we'll move on from there.
Sam, when you walk, when you get close to the giraffes, does your power level increase? Like suddenly, do you just feel like you can lift a car because of your affinity for
a little
giraffes?
bit, and then I see the zebra, and I'm like, oh. Then I get all warm and fuzzy inside because the zebras are in the same area I think as the giraffes. But when Brooke and I, we went out to Arizona to see my old man years and years ago, and we went to some zoo, I think, with my grandma. No. That's a different time when I was younger. But no, we went to a zoo in Arizona somewhere, and that was the first time I got to feed giraffes. So that was fucking rad. They're fucking like foot long, blue tongue and shit.
Yeah, I believe you.
Have you ever seen a giraffe's tongue?
Yeah, I've had one in my hand before.
Okay.
Yeah, it's great. It's like whenever I've gotten to feed any of those animals, I'm always kind of like this is great. Oh my god, stay with me, hang out, be my friend. And then they're like, we don't need any new friends. Thank you for the food. Fuck off. Just go away.
They're just so peaceful and chill, and I think that's like why I
have one tattooed on your stomach.
Yes, and I still got to get a monkey because that's like my other side, because monkeys are like my other favorite because they're so inquisitive and curious and
incredibly violent if they're provoked.
Yes, for sure, and mischievous, and like they're always the one that like robs somebody in a Disney movie, like takes Jane's shoes in Tarzan or some shit. Like,
no, have you ever seen those videos of the monkeys in like a. I think it's like there are some areas in India where there are whole monkey populations that are just like will run up on you and shit.
Oh yeah.
And this guy was sitting there, he was doing security, and then this monkey pops into the window and he looks at him as eating a sandwich. He's like, "Give me the sandwich, bro." And the guy's just like, "What?" He's like, "Give me the fucking sandwich, bro." And he just hands it to him. The monkey just takes it, like looks at him and just runs away. And I'm just like, I love them. I love animals. I'm not going to like if I'll do what I can,
right?
But I'm not getting punked out by a fucking monkey.
No,
I'm not getting punked. No, this isn't. Listen, this is a pastrami on rye. Go fuck yourself. You're not taking this fucking sandwich over my goddamn body, okay? No. Stupid.
D's gonna fight a monkey over pastrami and rye all day.
I will. I'll fucking do it.
Just give him a pack of cigarettes and he'll just walk away and be happy.
So you want me to introduce smoking into the monkey population?
No, haven't you ever seen that though? Like there's a video of or like pictures and stuff of like monkeys back in the day. They'd always give them like booze and cigarettes, which I'm not condoning that. But
one of my goals in this life is not to introduce a foreign substance into an animal.
What if they're already into it and you know that? Like they have a smoker's cough and you're just like smoke them up, Johnny. Here you go.
Just smoke them if you got them, guys.
Yeah.
No, I might no. Even then, no. Anyway, everybody, welcome to Food for Worms. I'm your host Darian,
and I am Sam.
Yes, and today we're hanging out. You probably heard the previous week's episode where I was gone and I moved, and
now D's in the attic with me randomly again.
I didn't take very long. Now I'm back for the day.
Yeah, you leave tomorrow morning, so I'm happy we were able to get in and like hang. I moved the attic around a little bit because I think it was just like with change I need to change things. You know what I mean? So like, oh, D's not going to be up here for a little while, which I didn't know you were going to be at the time. But then I was just like, I gotta. Literally after you left, I started just moving things around up here. So like records go over here, record players over here, chairs go crisscross, applesauce. Like, so it was, I think, like a therapeutic type of thing.
That's nice. Can we talk about you telling people that I died from trying to milk a bear?
Yeah, I'm sorry, folks. Like I was, it was a bit, and I thought that it was pretty damn obvious going into it. But
no,
I know a couple people like took it seriously and were like freaking out, thinking D was dead. He is not. He's alive and well. He's with me in the attic. He's going back home tomorrow.
There's just enough shitty stuff happening in the world that I had a few people just be like, they saw the name of the episode and they're like, and they froze. And I was like, that's enough for me to feel bad. The worst part is like, I was like, yeah, man, go for it. You gave me an out. I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. And then
yeah, I definitely came up with the title. Like we have now since changed it. Like D changed it to Bear Milk, which is fucking great.
Gross.
But
it's a little gamey.
But yeah. D was trying it out, but not so into Bear Milk.
Thank God. Yeah.
I'm still going to go on that part of the bit, making people think that you were actually milking a bear, but he did not die from it, folks.
Yeah, no, I survived that little encounter. Yeah, I rolled. My initiative was high in the roll, so it's fine. Good dexterity.
Like, have you ever... What's like the... Like, speaking of a bear, like, what's the animal, like, if you had to come across like some vicious ass, scary ass animal,
I don't
what's
like-
what's the last one you would want to like come across? Like a bear's up there for me, but I mean gorilla is fucking up there as well.
Vicious animal.
Yeah.
So okay, so the parameters of this is like I'm in the presence of this animal, and it's not having a good day, and it's going to react to me.
No,
being
it is not down with you being by it. Like it's gonna do something.
I think that I feel like I can avoid a handful of things, but I wouldn't want to be anywhere near a gorilla. Like you said, because the gorilla, like they're fast as shit and they're strong as shit. Somewhere out there in the world, someone thought they could take a gorilla, and then they found out really quick that they were wrong. Gorillas are 800 pounds of grade A USDA fuck you up, and I'm good. On that. Well, and so one time when I'm not gonna make, like, I don't know what's happening with kids, but when adults manage to fall into gorilla pens or just any animal pen, I'm like, what were you doing?
Right.
Why are
you fucking around?
Why
dude?
are you fucking around? It's like, the life is fuck around and find out, but that doesn't apply to zoos.
Well, and when there is the, like, you know, what, 6-inch thick glass chilling there, the gorilla's still trying to get your ass.
Yeah.
So what are you doing? Getting close to the area where there's like an opening, and you get in there, and now he's got your ass.
Yeah.
What happened there that you thought, like you're saying, how was that a good idea?
Yeah.
And how'd you get so fucking close? Like gorilla's definitely up there for me, because they're like a deceiving one, because they're so, like, we see, you know, like monkeys, apes in general, gorillas, they're like, you know, closest to us in the animal kingdom, you know, so we like to think that they're more human than they actually are.
And they're not.
No, definitely not. Like, don't ever confuse that at all. You know, you ever see that shit? Like, they go nuts, man.
I think it's some people having a false sense of security in a lot of different ways in life and in those situations. Like, everyone thinks that they can handle a situation until it actually happens, and then you really see what you're made out of. But then also the gorilla will get to see what you're made out of as it beats your fucking brains, and stop fucking around outside. Pay attention, respect the animals, and respect the fucking space. Most motherfuckers, I don't know. There's also been like a handful of just tragedies. Like, whenever these things happen, it's never like what happened, like why did it happen. It is that it happened.
Yep.
And you know, it's kind of,
you can't really question that shit, because it is an animal. Like like, obviously, it happened.
You're encroaching on its space. It's already in fucking captivity, so it doesn't want to fucking be there probably. And then now look, these people that have normally, for the most part, harassed me while I've been in my thing, one of you motherfuckers is in here now. I don't know. I feel like just getting into like not the justifications, but the whys of an animal, because I will also say that not all the animals react violently. So when people fall in there, but just sometimes some of them do, and it's unfortunate. But it's also like, why are you a human in this thing? Did you fall? For me, as a human that's not in the thing, how did that happen and why? and most times it's just dumb. So.
Well, and I know I've talked about Hey Arnold before, but there's the one where they go to the zoo and they're trying to like save the old like turtle that's in you know, captivity, that's been there forever, but you keep seeing the guy that's like, he's working at the aquarium or whatever, and he's like feeding the animals, like he's throwing crackers at penguins and shit, and then he's like fucking with the shark, and then at one point you just see him fall in the tank, and the shark, and then it clicks in the shark's brain like, I got you now, bitch. You've been fucking with me for too long.
Oh, speaking of turtles, did you know that? And maybe this is an internet bullshit lie,
right?
But apparently, Sylvester Stallone still has the turtles that he got from
in Rocky.
In Rocky,
and I had heard that, but that would mean, like, because what were those? Those were like just sea turtles.
Turtles live a long time.
Right, but different turtles live different amounts of time. Like a tortoise could go like 120 fucking years.
Yeah.
But I mean, and I'm not trying to say I don't know how long. I think those are like painted turtles or sea turtles or something. But I mean, that movie was what, almost 50 years ago, if not 50 years ago.
I think whatever we're talking about, we're talking about the Rocky 2 or 3, not like Rocky 1.
I thought he got turtles in the first one.
I don't recall, actually. I just know that from one of the Rocky movies, he got turtles in it, and he still has them. So good on him for being a good, consistent pet owner
and playing the same character for the past 50 years.
Yeah, he's Yeah. Hey, good on him. Because most times, whenever a project, because like you get done with a project, you think, well, I'm done with this project, but then sometimes it comes back to you. And in this case, like the perfect movie, Back to the Future, when it pops off, fucking Michael J. Fox and oh god, what's his name?
Christopher Lloyd.
The project pops up again, and they get to do something with it. So I don't know. I think anybody else is like, you want those residuals.
And speaking of which, like Michael J. Fox wasn't the original dude that was like in that franchise.
Yeah.
They filmed more than half the film with another dude, and then Zemeckis, the director, was like, yeah, this isn't working for me. So they had to like refilm all of the scenes with Michael J. Fox while he was on Family Ties.
Yep.
And both were filmed on opposite coasts. So like,
fuck.
Yeah, so he was doing one in L.A., I think, and then the other was in New York, because I think Family Ties was based out in New York or something. And
how did the Family Ties shirt song? How'd the song go again?
I don't even fucking remember. That was a show I never watched.
All right.
Like I mean, I remember definitely seeing it. Like it was one of those things on TV Land or something like that. But I was definitely, at the time I was watching that, I think I was probably more into like Growing Pains or something like that.
Oh, that guy.
And I don't even remember that fucking theme song. Like the only thing I think I remember from that time is like the Brady Bunch theme and fucking
All right. What?
That was the Odd Couple.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Or maybe it's Taxi. I don't fucking remember, man. I all that TV Land stuff, it just mixes in together in my brain. So, but how did we get on? How did we get to this from what we were
talking about following motherfucking turtles? Oh god, yeah. From fucking around and finding out at in zoos to turtles to Rocky, who also had turtles to.
Oh yeah, but do you think that is valid? That his turtles? Let's go back to that. Do you think that those like could possibly still be? Like, is that just people throwing that out there? Or?
Okay, I said I saw it on the internet. So every time you start with something that says I saw it on the internet,
it's not all fact.
What you said, yeah. No, sometimes it's whatever. Like I don't know. There are just certain things that I mean. Like if I see shit on the internet, I'm not gonna regurgitate it someone else most of the time. And even then, if I do regurgitate, it's like I said the whole Rocky Turtle thing,
right?
With a inflection that means like I heard this on the internet. Take it as a grain of fucking salt.
This is also some clickbait that isn't going to be handed off to other people and offend people. It's literally like I'm hoping that those are still the same turtles from Rocky. Like this isn't going to upset anybody if this story is true or false. So it's like some of that stuff from the internet that it's like, okay, I'll go with that. I'll roll with it.
Hey everybody, hey friends, if you are upset by the longevity of these turtles, I will say you should kindly just reassert.
Yeah, if they're actually dead, I'm sorry guys. If you've mourned them, and write Sylvester a letter,
Don't write him a letter.
Write him all the fucking letters he needs the mail.
You guys leave Sly alone. The shopping cart test.
What's the shopping cart test?
The shopping cart test. Shopping cart test is it's an ultimate litmus test for whether a person is capable of self-governing.
Oh my!
To return the shopping cart is an easy, convenient task and one which we all recognize as the correct, appropriate thing to do.
Yep.
To return the shopping cart is objectively right. There are no situations other than dire emergencies in which a person is not able to return their cart. Simultaneously, it is not illegal to abandon your shopping cart. Therefore, the shopping cart presents itself as an apex example of whether a person will do what is right without being forced to do it. No one will punish you for not returning the shopping cart. No one will fine you or kill you for not returning the shopping cart. You gain nothing by returning the shopping cart. You must return the shopping cart out of the goodness of your own heart. You must return the shopping cart because it is the right thing to do, because it is correct. A person who is unable to do this is no better than an animal, an absolute savage who can only be some other dark shit, but it was a really fun thing just to think about, because I sent it to a handful of people and I was like, what do you think about this?
Yeah.
And I said, what do you think about the shopping cart?
I mean, I'm always one that I try to find like the little what do you call it, a cart corral or something. Is that the name for it? Like I always try to bring the cart back. I like what Aldi does, with the quarter. But I mean, some people would just hand it off to the next person at Aldi specifically. Like when I go get groceries, I'll see people handing the cart off and like, hey, just grab the quarter, give it to somebody else when you're walking out. Like I that's very like cool.
Yeah.
To get the cart and bring it back. Like there's like a trade type of thing. And then I think it's more like communal there. But I mean, I think it's also very like circumstantial. Cause like if it's an old ass person and like the closest spot they could get their like big ass tank car like was like far away and they don't want to walk it back in. Like I think it's my job as a younger human to bring in a cart for an elderly person, but also like, I don't know if they just ran out to their car with it.
Yeah.
They're well and able to fucking walk that cart back to the corral.
Yeah. I look at that situation as like, I try not to get into the weeds of a why a person can't. So like if the person's old and it's kind of like, well, it's treacherous for them to walk any further than just the car, then that it is what it is, and I guess we really can't judge that. And I guess that's about judgment, just more like the thought of it being the right thing to do. Because I guess for me, I've always been mindful. Not I haven't been, but I grew into being a person that is more mindful about the work that I leave for others.
Yep.
So when I do it, I'm not thinking about the liability, because they sound like, because you ever see those signs that they're like, "Oh, return your shopping carts. It keeps our prices low," type shit. Which I'm kind of like, all right, whatever. But I'm also like, I believe it's the right thing to do. But I'm also not gonna jump down the throat or ultimately judge somebody harshly for not doing it, because like I'll look at it and be like, all right, that's a shitty thing to not do, but whatever. Like I'm going to move on with my life one way or another.
I laugh though. Like see, like and I'll like almost give someone props when I see them walking off. When I see them walking off with a full Target cart, like off the lot, because I'm like, you get a block away from here, your wheels are locking up.
Yeah.
And you got a cart full of shit, man. And now you like. It took them forever to figure out that they got to make it so that there's like a locking mechanism in one of the wheels or whatever. But then you see a cart 2 blocks away, and it's like, okay, like Target's never getting the cart back. Yeah. But that person had to walk home with all this shit like in their arms, know.
So sometimes it will lock up eventually. But if you can, I think it's like as long as you don't actively go over like one of those thresholds, then it kind of chills out a little bit. But yeah, it's a pain in the ass. But I guess the conversation overall is just kind of like for me is like, do you judge people super harshly that don't return it, or do you just kind of like
I don't. I mean, it depends on where it's at, because like if it's in the middle of a parking or like a parking spot, you just put it in the middle of that parking spot. Then I think you're an asshole. Yeah. If it's in a spot to where it's not like impeding people's like way of traffic by foot, or like where their car, like if it's the closest fucking parking space that someone can park, but now they have to park way farther away. I mean, that's an asshole move. Like, but I, like you were saying, like certain circumstances, I'm sure some people have to, drop their cart off and like cruise. They gotta get going somewhere. They don't have the time. They're in a hurry to go do something. I get that people sometimes like circumstantially, like shit, is going on, but, I think everybody should try to do it. But like you were saying, you try to do things that make, or just so that you're like aware of
being mindful of the work you leave for others.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So like what that makes me think of is like you and I, we've both have worked at like fast food restaurants or like sandwich pizza places, whatever. And I always worked bar close. And my thing was like, my biggest pet peeve was people leaving the fucking bathroom disgusting. And it's that type of a thing. Like, why do you have to do that? Because I have to clean that. Yeah. So, like, I always think of the people, like, yes, there's going to be a kid coming that brings all the fucking carts back. But if he has to walk to the other end of the parking lot, that's going to waste, however much of his day. So it's just, like, being courteous of that type of stuff. Because I'm just aware of you know, how I can make someone's day a little bit tougher if I don't do those things. I'd like to be able to. Have you ever seen cart narcs? I have to ask you about that.
Jesus Christ.
Before we get off the grocery cart thing, but there's a YouTube channel of cart narcs is what it's called, and the guy cruises around and acts like he's like hired by these places, and he'll see people just leave their cart like next to their thing, and he'll like roll up to them and be like, "Hey, are you gonna not bring your cart back?" And he'll harass them for 20 minutes until they bring their cart back. And they'll like, sometimes it will be like a screaming match, or this person will like chase them down and try to fight him. And but it's basically because of this whole conversation that this guy is doing it, because he takes it so damn seriously of just like, this is disrespectful.
Yeah.
You need to be bringing your cart back. There's the corral for a reason, man.
Yeah.
But he'll go at anybody. Old guy, young lady, old woman.
Gigantic buff dude.
Yeah. He'll do it to anybody for it's more of a comedic laugh, but he's also getting the whatever the point across.
Yeah. I think just return your fucking carts, but I guess it's just like, I don't know, like if you are a career non-cart returner, then, you know, figure your shit out. But without getting into the weeds of the whys and the whens, sometimes people don't. It just is, I guess, like, I don't judge people too harshly, but I do make note of that. Like, if you just leave your shit out, I'm like, all right, okay.
There's things that I judge people. I don't want to say I judge them, but like it will irritate me more than the whole cart thing. Like if you don't hold the door open for somebody, not specifically me, but like if I see somebody walking in right behind you, and like some people will literally like open it so that only they can walk through and try to get through so that they don't have to hold, like they'll actually go out of their way so that they don't have to hold the door open for you. I've always been I was like raised to have that be a thing. Like you hold the door open for somebody that's coming in behind you.
Yeah, always, for sure. I get the way I look at it is like, this is like it's not trying to be like on some both sides stuff, but it's just the understanding of just having, I guess, giving myself perspective on it is like, with that stuff like that, returning the cart, holding the door open for other people, and just tipping generally. You're supposed to do those things. Right. But with the understanding that it's like, not everybody else is built like us. Not everybody else is built like this. Like, not everybody's built like me. Right. So to have that expectation of people, it's like, I'm not a total cynic, but I definitely I get people just be assholes for no reason at all. Like, one of my friends who I asked this question to, he said this really very beautiful thing. He's like, I think it's a big push towards nurture, and then the nurture versus nature debate. Some folks are taught to do the right thing even when nobody's watching, and I think that for others somewhere along the line they were shown the opposite, and it's so fundamental that you can carry that with you forever. It is also a source of internal conflict in people, and that even though you were raised right, life can get to you and you can become the sort of person who no longer cares. This is a point for nature. It's interesting to think about. I haven't had my coffee yet.
That person's a lot more deep and is the word poignant? Well, yeah, than you and I are about this about this whole thing.
Yeah, because some of these things can just be said in very, very few words. But I thought that was really great because it. Oh, there's also the other part that got cut off from the question was, all right. So there's you must return the shopping cart. Out of the goodness of your own heart. You must return the shopping cart because it is the right thing to do, because it is correct. A person who is unable to do this is no better than an animal, an absolute savage who can only be made to do what is right by threatening them with a law and the force that stands behind it. The shopping cart is what determines whether a person is a good or bad member of society. and I was also like, all right, that's a little fucking dramatic. Yeah, but little bit. But would I say like would I borrow this person $5? Probably not, because they don't return their fucking golf carts. But
it's also like, I will use the shopping cart to get back at a shitty parker.
Why would you? What?
A person that parks shittily, like you're taking up 2-3 parking spots, or you're like parked diagonally in some parking spots. I'm gonna put that shit either in front of or behind your vehicle. So you have to bring that to the cart corral, so that maybe you can They probably are so.
I can guarantee you, Sam. Right now, by doing that, I guarantee you, the type of person that would double or triple park is also not the type of person that would fucking return the car.
They just run over it.
They run over it, or they just kick it out of the way.
They put it behind my car.
They put it behind your car, or some shit. Or they watch you do it, so they just fucking get on and they start yelling at you.
I was gonna say that, like, there's no way with me having an annoyance of that person's parking job that I should have expectations that they are gonna put that card away. They're definitely just gonna put it next to the fucking car next to them that parked perfectly fine. Yeah. And you know, like,
donated blood that morning.
And they held the door open for 5 people behind them when they were walking indoors.
And they tipped at the restaurant this morning. Anyway,
bought the old lady cigarettes behind them in line, and she doesn't even smoke.
Yeah, just like, smoke them if you got them again.
Speaking of old ladies and cigarettes, this pissed me off as a 10-year-old going to a grocery store. I was like, my dad would always go to the counter where you buy the cigarettes. Don't ID 90-year-old women for cigarettes. Fuck off. Okay, that's rude.
What's wrong with IDing people?
IDing 90-year-old women for cigarettes?
ID everybody for anything.
I don't know about that. I've never been in a position where I'm like IDing anybody for cigarettes, so I guess. But even as a 10-year-old, I was like, this is pointless. Like, she's lived 3 times your life. You're an asshole for IDing her.
Okay, well, as a person that has had to
it's the law. I'm sorry, guys.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break while me and Sam talk about the finer points of checking IDs for your job
and senior citizens and how we need to respect them.
Right. We'll be right back, everybody. Food Performance Podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. Sam, you've been to therapy, right?
Yeah, it always helps my brain and my heart to get the weird, sad, scary stuff off my chest.
Yeah, man, the case of the sads comes at you fast, but yeah, without a healthy mind, being truly happy and at peace in this day and age is just hard. It truly is.
Well, and I mean, who wants to go to an office where you have to be by like a real life human?
Absolutely not. No, not in this knee body, sir. No, I'm not doing that.
Well, and then like the recycled air, just that you both have to breathe in each other's faces
to validate your parking and talk to Janice outside. No, thank you. To avoid that nightmare fuel, BetterHelp is a customized online therapy that offers video, phone, or live chat sessions with a licensed therapist. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy and can start communicating with the therapist in under 48 hours. That's nice, right?
Yeah. Yeah. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and Food for Worms listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/foodforworms.
Goddamn right.
That's betterhelp.com/foodforworms.
Something you brought back from New York?
Sorry, one of the things I brought with me from Minneapolis to New York was jumper cables.
You got rid of a car before you went there, D.
I know.
Is it just so you can be a good Samaritan on the streets of New York?
As I carry the jumper cables around with me.
Yeah, they're like you're like, you need, somebody's car broke down. Yep. D's like, you need a jump, man. And they're like, yeah, man, like just pull up right. Oh, I don't have a car, but I'll go get my cables. Let's go find a guy that has a car and I'll hook your cars up.
That's exactly why I did it. No,
yeah, it takes 3 different people to do the transaction of getting their car going.
It is goofy as hell. No, for me, I'm not a hoarder. And I have no problem letting go of things. If it's out of sight, it's generally out of mind after a little bit. But I definitely held on to my jumper cables because I just wanted to have them just to have them. Because maybe I'd rather have them. It's like a knife. I'd rather have it, not need it, than need it, not have it.
Yeah, but do you have 15 sets of jumper cables? Because I know you have knives all over the place.
Leave me alone, Sam. Asking me these fucked up ass questions.
He's got a locker just filled with oh, you need jumper cables, man? Here you go.
Yeah, no, but I was talking with my partner about it, and she was like she made the same argument with you. She's like, why you don't have a car anymore? And I was like, well, I just wanted to have it. She's like, so you just have jumper cables? I'm like, yeah. She's like, so then the joke came into like, you should just get a t-shirt that says, I have the shirt, black shirt, white writing.
Yeah,
I have jumper cables.
And I see it, like, here's how I see it, is a guy's like fuck, his car breaks down and he just looks over, D's got a sweatshirt on, unzips his hoodie, opens it up, and then he's just like, I got you, without saying anything. He's like, Okay, get over
Yeah,
here.
no, the worst part is like I'm gonna be in a different neighborhood, nowhere near my house.
Yeah, across town from where you're
across
going.
town,
Hey, man, but I would need you to give me a ride to go get my
the
jumper cables. But your car's dead.
And then
so-
from there, I just get punched in the nose. So that's. Listen, man, I'm just trying to just sow a little bit of chaos in the world every day.
Well, and like, is there anything that you got rid of going there that you think that maybe it would have been more valid to keep than jumper cables?
No, everything that I got rid of, I didn't need anymore. And then when I still got there, I found that I still had too much shit.
Yeah.
So like the jumper cables is like, for me, I'm a utilitarian in a bunch of different little ways and shit. And for me, jumper cables, even if you don't have a car, are a very useful thing to have because maybe you might need them one day. Like I plan on renting a car and go doing some stuff over in the East Coast at some point.
Yep.
Right, that's some fucking jumper cables. Not that I expect that I would, because most of those fucking rental cars are decent. But
Well, you would hope that they're, semi regularly.
they are,
Yeah.
yeah. But no, that was one of the funny things. It was just kind of like a shirt that just says "I have jumper cables." That's for no reason. It's like stupid.
I mean, that's definitely like I'm sure you wouldn't even have to get that made. I'm sure there's a T-shirt that does say that somewhere. There's a T-shirt with a company that's making a T-shirt of everything nowadays. Like I looked up it's one of my favorite T-shirts, and I lost it for a while. But I looked up cat cleaning itself for an T-shirt, and then it's just a white T-shirt with a black outline of a cat licking its butthole. And that was with its leg over its head, and that's like one of my new favorite T-shirts. And like a late night fucking Amazon find. Like sometimes you just gotta. Or no, that wasn't even Amazon. I haven't bought a T-shirt off Amazon in a long time. But you could find some random ass T-shirts out there, and I know you're a big T-shirt guy. I'm a big T-shirt guy. Like there's shirts that I haven't worn for fucking years, but I'm like,
I want to hold on to till I die.
well, it doesn't. Not that you've gotten any bigger, or it just doesn't like fit you the same. Like you've either stretched it out or it's torn in this spot, but
or it has an unacceptable stain on it.
Right. But you're like, I still got to hold on to the shirt because it's legit. Like, oh, maybe someday I'll cut the logo out and put it onto a new T-shirt. I've got T-shirts I've had I haven't worn for a decade that are still fucking in my shit. And I mean, there's some I have from when I was like 5 years old. Like the 90s, everybody was wearing big ass T-shirts, and I've got a couple that are still in my like fucking drawer that it's like I haven't worn this size XL T-shirt since I was 7.
XL, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I was rocking that. Yeah, when you hid your shorts with the T-shirt like over the shorts back in the 98 or whatever fucking year it was.
Those are weird years.
Yeah, not great.
Another pivot.
What's the pivot?
The thought. This is a thought.
Oh, what's the thought?
Well, this comes from one John Mayer. Yes, that John Mayer. They should let everyone on hold with customer service talk to one another. Think about it.
But like on hold for customer service at the same place, or just in general all across the board, different companies.
I think how okay, we can go.
How chaotic would that be?
Yeah, no, but like how chaotic do you want this conversation to go? Because
we could go both ways.
Both ways. All right, okay, good. So I'm thinking for me, I think it would be specifically for this one thing.
Yeah,
not all of them all together because then it used to be crossing the fucking streams too much. But could you imagine you're sitting there, you're trying to call the fucking. Also, with that being said, right now all these motherfucking businesses due to COVID, they go out of their way to make sure that you don't ever actually talk to an actual person, and it's
so gross.
Like it's just like yes, but it is what it is kind of right now. It's because like these motherfuckers can't hire because they don't pay enough, so they're not able to hire enough people.
Right.
But yeah, just being able just to get on the phone, you're waiting to talk to, let's say U-Haul. Motherfuckers I've had to talk to a lot the last couple of weeks and shit.
Yeah.
And he's just waiting on the fucking thing. Like, I would much rather talk to some random person, maybe get into an argument than sit there and listen to the same fucking music over and over and over again.
Well, maybe you could even figure something out while you're on hold to talk to customer service. You guys figure out your problems together, and then you're like, okay, maybe we'll catch up some other time, man. I'll check you later. And you guys just both hang up from trying to get a hold of U-Haul, but you just talk to each other. That'd be great.
Yeah. So, you you went through some tolls and through Illinois, right? Yeah, they're just gonna send you a thing. Like that's what happened to me last time. It would be the mutual buds.
Yeah,
Mutual buds.
but and that would actually be like a good a good thing for U-Haul to go for, because they might avoid like, you know, a percentage of their calls by these, you know, buddies finding each other. Like, oh, you had the same issue as me? Okay, let's work through this together. Like, just call me personally. We'll figure this out. Like,
yeah,
and then
you just call me. You got pen and paper? Yeah, write it down. It's fine. No, it would be chaotic, and I feel like I think that there would be a good percentage, maybe like there'd be a decent percentage of people that figure their shit out by talking to one another, but I think there'd still be like a gigantic number of people that you just can't get this shit answered by a person. Like, I couldn't imagine it, but I think it would just be really funny and chaotic. Imagine like you're just trying to call to get your fucking flight canceled or some shit, or change some shit on the flight, and then all of a sudden you're just talking with some other asshole who's like waiting because he's trying to order something from off of a customer. Like, was it the TV? Was it was it thing where you were buying things off of the TV commercial thing? Is it?
Oh, like infomercials.
Infomercials.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Infomercials. Like, oh, so then all the people on hold to get a hold of the infomercial at 2 a.m. are talking to the dude he just wants to cancel a flight.
Yeah. So we on hold for? No, play. Let's do this in the space.
Yeah.
Bring, bring.
Hello.
Bring.
Hello.
Hello. Hey, bud. What are you doing?
You are
You are
number 21
in line. Please hold.
It will be an hour and a half. But actually 2.
Yeah. That's fine. I'm incredibly lonely. Ring, ring. Yeah. So then, yeah. That's
hi. Hey.
Hey, bud.
Oh, what's up?
Oh man, you know, just trying to order this deluxe back scratcher with a fan attached to it. It's been a little bit. What are you on hold for?
I'm just trying to cancel a flight because I ended up just renting a van instead, because like I figured I'd like the drive and I'd be able to, what?
You know that flying is the safest way to travel, right?
Yeah, but I've actually been pretty down lately, and so I mean I'd like to like live on the edge, and I just don't really want to be around people right now. So I'm trying. It's more so my anxiety is like why I went to get this van, because I really can't be around people right now for me and myself. So I mean, if I end up in a car wreck, I mean this
Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
But tell me about this back scratcher. I mean, this might get both of us out of a pickle.
Well, sir, it has a try. It has 3 options. You can either go full on for your upper back, medium for your middle back, and if you just want to get to the fucking holiest of holies, number 3, right down to the butt. Okay, gets right in there, and then as you're scratching, the post has like an umbrella hook handle, and on the end of that has a fan. So as I'm doing it, I can cool off.
Like blow air on your butt?
No, just like on my face as I'm doing it.
Oh,
because if my face
it's by
is
the
cool.
handle. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
If my face is cool, then the rest of my body is cool, because science, go fuck yourself. It's great.
Can you connect like a piece of toilet paper to the little handle?
That person's gone now. You didn't use any time to get to know them or ask them any questions or get any information from them. Guess what?
What?
Love has died today. Yeah, like getting people being randomly pulled out of fucking group conversations like the Rapture.
What do you mean?
You're just talking with somebody, and all of a sudden you make sentence, and all of a sudden it's like, and the person's just gone. He's like you're like mid sentence, and all of a sudden the person just gets pulled off into the ether, and they're getting their questions answered.
Oh, I get what you're saying. Yeah, like, and then you were cool with this person because they were keeping you company, like while you were on hold. But then now you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
Now I'm all alone again.
Yeah.
Bring.
And they pick up finally. They're like, hey, this is so and so. Help. No. Like, this call is being monitored for training and purposes, because we want to keep our promises to you. I don't fucking care anymore, Stephanie. You pulled me away from my best friend and love of my life. You fucking suck. Excuse me, sir. You have to use language like that. You fucking suck. All right. Anyway, so that got dark.
I like it. I like it when it gets dark, D.
Yeah.
It's good.
It gets dark outside. But I guess like touching back onto the conversation about like wanting to be seen,
Yeah.
and like just fucking with people as like a means to just kind of just fucking people for like not out of malice, but just to mess with people.
Well, it can be fun, and it also, like, you and I, we've talked about how both of us wanted that attention.
Yeah,
Sometimes when we were younger.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
that's how, because I remember like specifically mine was like, it was two things. There was this one, it was like a hall attendant, just one of those people who just worked and who just made sure that we all didn't leave. And
In high school?
yeah,
Okay.
she was very sweet. Her name was Sue.
Hi, Sue.
Is Sue?
Shout out to Sue.
Shout out to Sue. But like that ass, like she was a huge sweetie, but she was just really, really easy to mess with, and I never took it too far.
Yep.
But I would just dead ass just being like, I'd see her out in the hallway, and I'd be like, no, Sue, don't do it. and I would just drop down onto her knees and just scream at the top of my lungs, like, no, don't do it, Sue. And everyone else just stops. And she just looks like, what the fuck are you doing? She's like, why? Like, she would just be like, just so mortified that like I'm just pleading for my life in front of her. And everyone in the
Anybody else walking by is just gonna be like, look at, like, she's gonna be like, what the fuck? Everyone else could be like, hey, look at D fucking with the lady.
Again.
like it's
point.
so obvious
Yeah.
that you would be just
just
giving
to
her
do
shit.
that. But then that same breath, then I would used to walk in the middle, and motherfuckers maybe listen to this and went to high school with me, but like I would walk into the cafeteria, and I would be like, can I have your attention, please? Penis.
Yeah.
That will be all. And then I would just walk away. And the teachers didn't know what to do with me because like that's the one weird thing I would do. And then I was generally fucking quiet. The hall attendants, they were like, "Oh, is that Darian? Fucking Darian," and whatever. But it was like it was always done in jest because I wanted to make people laugh, and I guess I generally want it to be seen. But that's one of the things that I've been gripping on, like even as a kid. And as a teenager and as a young adult, and now as a 32-year-old adult, like I have been gripping with wanting to even be seen. And
So now you're wondering if you even want to be?
I'm coming to grips with my personality trait that's factory setting, low key, and then the other part of also wanting to be seen and perceived and to be just seen out in the world. Like me, like my besides posting about the podcast, I don't really post on social media that much, besides because I just don't. I've been coming to terms with who I'm becoming, and then who I'm becoming. Do they even want to be a part of the digital community?
Yep.
And we're making some really big leaps, but like I look at who I was, who I became, and then who I'm becoming, and those parts of me, it's like, do you want to be a public person? Do you want to? Because I generally cringe from the fucking spotlight, but there are parts of like this podcast where we're literally talking from a microphone, we're bearing our thoughts out here to people.
Yeah, putting our real selves out there,
or putting parts of ourselves out there.
Right.
I don't think we can only put so much out there without like fucking like putting like without like lowering down the drawbridge of our lives and shit. But
Yep.
It's like I'm coming to terms with who I was, who I became, and who I'm becoming. And then that person's like, do you want to be seen? Do you want to be heard? Because a part of this creative things, I'm like, creatives, no matter what we say, we want to be creative. We want people to hear our stuff.
Yep.
And I guess for me, I'm like, what do I actually want to put out there? Because I'm not a controlling person. I found that I am generally an open book if I feel like the person that I'm talking to is also willing and able to share with me. Like I've met a really cool person named Monica. Me and her got to kick it one of these days in New York while I was out there, and she's asking questions and I fucking answered. And then when I asked her questions, she would also answer and just give me, like, she'd give me parts of it, I give her part of myself, and we just understand. And she was like, "You're really open." I was like, "Yeah, I guess I am."
But also
that's
to
a
you,
yeah.
to you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in this conversation,
Yeah.
I'm very open, and
Yeah.
I've learned to be more so like that. I think when you and I were talking about like fucking with people,
Yeah.
like we're a teen, we're early 20s, everybody's fucking looking for attention.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
whether it's like that or you're a homebody just on the computer blasting out trolling people. You know, like you're looking for attention, whether it's negative or not, at some point of time in your life. And then we've just kind of, this is our way of putting ourselves out there now. And then other than that, like maybe just chatting with somebody that you could actually have like a legitimate conversation with, like not putting all of yourself out there all the time, because with this, we get to put out what we want of ourselves.
Yeah, or
and
measured bits of ourselves.
Yes, well, and I'm not saying like portraying myself in a way that is false.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is what I want people to think I'm like, but this is what I want people to know of me.
Yeah,
you know, like,
certain,
and I've learned from you, from Brooke, from certain friends, like some stuff I don't always have to put out there, because like forever I think I confuse those two of like getting the attention and also putting all of myself into shit and all of my shit on the line, because then it's like I have so much at stake, and then maybe that other person
doesn't,
or they could take advantage of that.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not saying everybody does, but I'm just saying I think I've learned that can be a factor.
Yeah.
Because like back in the day, like one of my favorite fucking gags, I want to back to go when we were like just teenagers, fucking shouting for attention. Like you and I, we were both like mall rats, you know, like we'd go hang out. I mean, St. Cloud, Minnesota, working. There was, well, yes, you and I both worked at the mall, but then I would also like hang out there. There's a skate shop there. You can go get food. You can, you know, it was like a cool spot besides the movie theater to go hang out with girls when you're a teenager, you know, like, but I mean, it literally all you could do as a teenager in St. Cloud was ride my bicycle, go to punk rock shows, skateboard, and go to the mall. Like that's what I can do. But one of my favorite bits was going into the food court and I'd be there with Dennis and like maybe, you know, a couple other buddies, but Dennis would be halfway hanging in the fountains, like grabbing change out of the fountains where everybody's like, you know, coins that they make wishes are from. And then me and like another buddy, probably like Robert or something, we're panhandling. So like people that come by and we're panhandling from, they see Dennis hanging in a fucking fountain, grabbing change. And they're like, do you guys really need the money? But like, then we just like, you know, go get a meal for all of us with this money. I mean, I'm past the what is that, the
statutes of limitations for stealing from a fountain?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't do it, but I reaped the benefits. But that was always one of my favorite bits, because then people just look at you funny, like, what are you guys doing, man? Like, are you actually trying to feed yourselves, or are you guys just gonna leave? So like sometimes I will like give, if I get a good I like to give you know, cash to people when I see them, you know, if they really do need some money and they're in a hard time. But also sometimes like if it's somebody that I'm not sure if that's actually what their scenario is, but they gave me a good enough story, like if they put enough of them like enough thought into what they're telling me, you know, I'll throw them some money.
Yeah,
you know?
Also I guess I want to clarify a little more on what you mean by a bit as well. Like this is something that you used to do back when you were a teenager.
Yes, I'm talking 15 years old.
Ago. Yeah. So
like this is almost 20 years. This is going on 20 years ago.
For sure, because there's some folks that I understand that do panhandle as just as something to do, and then there are people that do actually panhandle because that's the way that they're going to eat today. So I
fully get that. We were teenagers. We were teenagers. It was partially a joke, partially us not having any money, and we wanted to get one helping of some Chinese food, and then before we had to leave the mall.
For sure.
That is to clarify.
Yeah, that's why I just wanted to make sure. I was like, let's make sure that we clarify that. So, because you said bit, and I was like, panhandling isn't a bit, Betty, but I understand that you're 15. But no,
No, it was half a joke, half serious, because we legit didn't have any money, but we could probably go weasel it off of one of our friends or go stop at some other homie's house and eat his parents' food. Yeah. You know, like that. But we were at the mall. You know, we didn't have a fucking car. So.
No, I feel that.
Yeah, kids do stupid fucking shit. You know,
so. Yeah, man, it's been interesting, like, just coming to terms with all that, because it hasn't been, and I don't want to be perceived, but I also feel and understand the warmth of being seen and having things that you put out there to be being liked and appreciated and stuff. And one of the things I've also been wanting to work on and really turn around about myself this year is that, like, actually like taking the praise or any praise that I get and just recognizing it as a positive thing instead of completely fucking like shutting away from it. Like it's not wrong to appreciate being appreciated. I guess it depends on like how you behave afterwards. I think that says a lot about you. But
that's what I was gonna say.
But like, I don't know. Like, there's just been so much of me that just doesn't want to be seen. But then I come with, like I said, struggle with the part of me like, but I'm making a podcast and I like being creative and I like it being not necessarily torn apart, but I like it being thought of and referenced and people actually like talking, saying like when like people say they like a podcast, that gives me so much warmth and appreciation and I thank you, I appreciate it and gratitude. There's a way of like creatives, people that create music and art. I think all artists, all creatives, they just want to be loved. Mm-hmm. I think like deep down there is some parts of us that, regardless of what we're creating, what we're putting out there, we want people to like it, we want people to love it. How that love translates into where we store it within our hearts and in our minds and everything, us the creator, the plumbing of that is different for everybody. So that's not the conversation. But no matter what, we just want our shit to be heard and loved. So for me, coming to terms with being in a more creative space, having a podcast, doing graphic design, as much photography, shit like that, and actually having people like really like it, enjoy it, and appreciate it, I'm coming to terms with getting that kind of praise. It's not that I've been starved of it. I've just you're
trying to grasp it and get a better understanding of like maybe how you can actually accept it.
Yeah, because I've whenever people say they've been proud of me or something, I've always felt weird about that, and I couldn't tell you why.
But you're questioning it probably when they say it, like why? Because you did what you like. You always just do. You're not going to do something unless you think it needs to be done. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
But where I'm critical of myself is, why do I have so much of this, like, not necessarily I have plenty of self-loathing, but it's mostly for comedic purposes. But the other part, but just why do I make a face internally or sometimes externally when somebody says that they're proud of me or that if I get any kind of praise, there's a part of me where it hits a wall and it's like, it's like, hey man, good job. And imagine that affirmation flows into my brain and it goes into my heart piece and it starts spreading out through my body. But before it goes to the rest of my body, it hits a wall and it's like, and the wall's like, who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you, you piece of shit? And then that's a different part. And that isn't, I don't call myself a piece of shit, but it's just,
well, but that's like a what's the term where you think you're like a phony, you think you're a fraud?
Yeah. Okay. So that's the other part of it too.
Imposter syndrome.
I do have imposter syndrome in some parts of it, but for me, it's imposter syndrome, and there are different walls that I run up against within myself, and that's something again, like no matter, I'm working on that stuff. So I guess the ultimate question as we're discussing this, and I guess as it pertains to our listeners, is like, where. Like, do you have any problems with getting praise? And then do you ever have moments of imposter syndrome? And then when you have done something great, when you have done something you're proud of, do you allow yourself to just keep putting yourself down, or are you actively working on like accepting the praise
maybe celebrating it
and celebrating yourself? Because I think that we should all, as we're getting older, we should celebrate our fucking wins. We should take in the positive affirmations as they come in, because if we fucking did it, we fucking did it. And people
like why like, because we accept the bad things, and then we should also accept the good things. And let yourself like reap that benefit, or at least get a good feeling from it.
Yeah, yes, just enjoy the fucking moments, enjoy the fucking wins, because they're there and you fucking worked on them. But I see all that as a person that needs to work on that myself. So
yeah, but I think we all need to work on that, because I think right when, like, if someone were to say something, I think it hits me a little bit differently than you, because I will be like, yeah, I did do all right, like I'll give myself initially maybe a little bit more props, like right off, like when somebody does say something to me, but then I will think about it literally like later that day, and then that's when I'm like, nah, like that's when I'm like, I gotta like find something, like, no, it wasn't, they were off, like they perceived that a little bit differently. So then that's when I start to second guess it and like kind of tear apart what they said was like positive about something that like initially I was like, yes, I thought I did great too, but no, actually it like for some reason, like when it came to like music and shit, then I'd be like, no, I don't want to play that song anymore. Even though I've been playing it for a year, I don't want to do that anymore because you like it now.
Yeah.
or like, why do you like it? I think it sucks.
Yeah.
Like now I think it sucks because you like it. Not because you like it, but that's just how my brain kind of tweaks that, the conversation.
Yeah. So I guess like we have to just work on our negative self-talk and taking in the affirmations as they come in real time and not getting in our own way.
And knowing it's okay to celebrate yourself sometimes when you do have a win, you know?
Yeah, celebrate your wins because nobody else is going to do that shit for you. And if you are lucky enough to have people enough to do celebrate your wins outside of yourself, fucking just hold on to those people real tight.
And embrace them and help them celebrate themselves as well.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I feel like that part of the conversation was good. Do you think that was productive? Do you think that made sense?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard to talk about like the way that you perceive, like how other people perceive you. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's like just a weird conversation with yourself in general. So for us to speak about it with each other, when like you were saying, everybody's going to deal with that in a different way, or like take that in a different way, and it's just like what you do with it. Don't be a piece of shit when people are giving you props. Like, don't become like an arrogant son of a bitch. Like that's just I think the task. And if we can work on ourselves in all these different areas, I mean, I think that's a productive conversation.
Me too.
It's just a weird, hard conversation to kind of formulate, I think. So, I mean, folks, let us know what you thought of our conversation and hit us up and, tell us how you accept praise, or if you have like negative self-talk or whatever. Because I know everybody has it going on. We just all deal with it in different ways.
Yes,
so
sir.
Fucking hit us up. We'd always love to talk to you guys. So hit up the grab bag.
Yeah.
Okay?
The grab bag
And follow us, subscribe, do all that shit because, we always need the love. So
we only do this for the validation.
yeah.
you.
That's the only reason that we're here.
You mind if I read us up, bud?
Of course.
All right, man. Thank you all so much for joining us. Sam just said all that, but I'll say it again. If you want to submit any questions or topics, head to bit.ly/FFW grab bag or contact us at foodforwormspodcast@gmail.com. For more existential humor, remember to rate and subscribe to Food for Worms on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. You could literally be anywhere, but you choose to be here, and we appreciate the shit out of you for joining us.
Fuck yeah, we do.
Yeah. As always, man, check on your strong friends. Tell your people you love them, and remember that you can't take any of this shit with you. When the banks close, we're even. Okay?
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a fucking dick. This has been Food for Worms. Sam,
What up, D?
I love you.
I love you too, buddy. Safe travels tomorrow.
Thank you.
And I know we'll see each other soon.
Yeah.
And have a good night, folks. Or
Oh.
good morning, folks. Sorry.
Yeah.
Love you, buddy. The Food for Worms podcast is a hella rad production.
It is recorded and mixed by Samuel Sarver.
Executive producers are Darian Washington and Samuel Sarver.
Theme music is Muffins by Dresden the Flamingo.
Find us wherever you get your podcasts and like, subscribe, and leave a review.
Because we need those reviews.
We do, and it helps people hear our stuff.
It pushes us right to the top. But on top of that, we also get that sweet ass validation. Sam, have you felt validated lately?
Sometimes.
I recently took up this new moniker. Play with me in this space.
What's your new moniker?
Validation Highlander. I used to be chopping fucking heads off, man. So stupid.
Fuck them bullies.
Fuck them bullies. You get it validated, and you get it validated.
And you, and you, and you.
Do you feel seen?
I'll cut your head off.
Oh my God.